and this ties into what we're talking about. And Sonya's got a question about, we're seeing very little inventory for sale this fall in Austin. We need to relocate for work into the area by February 1st. What do you suggest? We really don't want to rent unless it's absolutely necessary. Okay, well, welcome to the Austin real estate market. Number one, you may be pretty disappointed in what you have available for rents. We've already talked about that. This time of year, and this echoes the need to work with an agent that's pretty well plugged into the community. I know I'm aware of it, and I'm going to ask you, Perry, if you're aware of it. Lots of inventory that formally will be off the market for active showings in the fourth quarter. But these sellers still want to sell. They just don't want to inconvenience their family for the holidays and are planning coming on after the holidays. Now, if you're working with an agent as a buyer who is unaware and only willing to show you properties or go prospect for and call agents, in other words, if they're only willing to show you what's active on the market, you're going to get what Sonya gets, which is, oh my God, I can't find anything to buy. But I know that for what I do, and I'm guessing, Perry, you do the same thing, we have a lot of conversations with listing agents, or we're aware of, out of our own personal inventory, houses that could be shown on a private basis. And this is where it's going to get even more important to hire the right agent, isn't it? That's actually going to do some work for you to try and find you a house.
The silent market.
Well, and I know what I do this time of year for buyers is I'll quite often call older listings that expired or were withdrawn. I'll either have a conversation with the listing agents or the sellers as appropriate and find out if they're still interested in selling, if I've got buyers that need to purchase. And sometimes I'll send those lists to my buyers to say, would you purchase any of these 20 or 30 listings that were pulled off the market? And then I've got 20 or 30 people I need to call to say, got a buyer needs to buy by February 1st. Can we arrange for a private showing to see your home? And I've had plenty of success, and I'm guessing you probably have as well, Perry, in making this happen.
Right. We got lots of experience in certain areas. It's all about the area, and we talk about that a lot. And finding out who's a skill set expert in your area, that's the greatest chance of you being successful with it.
And it is definitely something that most agents, and this is my experience, and I'm not beating up on our peers, most agents this time of year aren't even working, right, let alone plugged into the silent inventory, are willing to do that. So if you're a buyer and you're like Sonya and you're worried that you're not going to be able to find something, feel free to call me or Perry. You can certainly email us at the info@austintexasrealestatetoday.com, and we'll be happy to reach out to you. If it's not an area that we service, we'll refer you to somebody that will take great care of you. But you need to take care to find an agent who's actually working this time of year that will show you inventory beyond what's just in the MLS, because inventory is very low right now. And it's going to get even lower. Any closing thoughts on that before we wrap up today, Perry?
No, I'm really excited about the Berkshire Hathaway thing, and I appreciate you you're actually the first person to find the news. You were hotter in the news than I was on that day.
Yeah, what was interesting is my phone started ringing because people know that I am a big follower of all things real estate and things that affect real estate. So I remember I texted you, and you acted a little surprised that I even knew about it.
Right.
Yeah.
We were told the day before, but we didn't know who was. I'm glad you're right on the pulse. If there was ever a doubt that you were on the pulse, I could show where you were at that time.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate it, Perry. This is episode 17 of the Austin Real Estate Today radio show and Austin Realty podcast. Looking forward to talking to you next week. Next week, we may be able to put either a footnote or a partial discussion as to the implications in housing for the presidential election. But thank you so much for your time, and I'll talk to you next week.
All right, bye-bye.